All right, let's talk about endings. We've all been there, right? You've written this amazing paper. Your points are just razor sharp, the evidence is perfect, but then you get to the conclusion and you just don't know how to land the plane. Well, today, we are going to fix that. We're breaking down exactly how to write a conclusion that doesn't just end your work, but makes it absolutely unforgettable.
You know that feeling, don't you? You build this incredible, powerful case piece by piece, and then the last paragraph just kind of fizzles. It feels like a gymnast who pulls off this mind-blowing routine. Every single flip is perfect, and then they just stumble on the landing. All that hard work you put in deserves a spectacular finish, and that's exactly what a great conclusion does.
So, why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's just the end, right? Wrong. A conclusion is way more than just a summary you have to check off a list. It's actually a super strategic part of your entire argument. Think of it as your closing statement to the jury.
I mean, really think about that. This is the very last thing your reader is going to see. It is the final impression you leave them with. The one thought that's going to stick in their head long after they've put your paper down. It's your opportunity to lock in your argument and make sure it resonates. This is your mic drop moment.
Okay, so how do we actually build one of these things? You'll be happy to hear it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. Let's break down the core ingredients, the essential building blocks for a really solid foundation.
Now, the official definition here from Masterclass says a conclusion summarizes the entire work, but honestly, that word summarizes can be a little bit misleading. It's not just about repeating everything you've already said. No, it's about synthesizing it. You're bringing it all together to create something new and powerful.
And that process really boils down to two simple steps. First, you just restate your main point, your thesis. This brings your reader right back to your core argument. Then you briefly touch on your critical points again. But, and this is key, you have to link them together. Don't just make a list. Show how they all connect to prove your thesis. You're basically connecting all the dots for your reader one last time.
Now look, if you stop right there, you'll have a perfectly fine conclusion. It'll be adequate, but we're not here for adequate, are we? We're aiming for a killer conclusion. And to get there, you have to move beyond a simple summary and answer one very, very important question.
This right here is the secret sauce. After you've brought all your points together, you have to answer the reader's unspoken question, which is always, so what? Why should I care? Why does any of this matter? Answering this question is what gives your work weight and relevance. It's what turns an academic exercise into something that feels like it has real-world significance.
So how do you do it? Well, here are 3 fantastic strategies. You can talk about the broader impact, what your findings mean for society as a whole, or for your specific field of study. You can also look ahead and offer some hopes or suggestions for the future. Or, and this one's really cool, you can use powerful, memorable language that really sticks with the reader. Let's drill down on that last idea for a second. Sensorial language. This is all about making your reader feel your conclusion, not just understand it. When you use vivid imagery and words that evoke a feeling, you create this much stronger, more emotional connection to your argument. It's the difference between saying there was a conflict and describing the fractured community. See? One just states a fact, the other one paints a picture.
Real quick, before we see this in action, a word on what not to do. Your conclusion is about providing closure. So whatever you do, don't introduce brand new ideas or questions that just open the whole thing back up again. And try to keep it concise. Its power really comes from being sharp and focused, not from rambling on.
All right, theory is great, but let's see how this all works in the real world. We're going to take apart the conclusion from an actual academic paper and see exactly how these rules come together to create a really powerful final statement.
First up, a little context. This paper is all about Malaysian literature and how it changed after a huge political shift in 2018, an event the author calls a political tsunami. The main argument is that this election completely reshaped the landscape for writers. So the stakes are pretty high here. We're talking about national identity, art, and culture.
And here it is, the conclusion from that paper. Go ahead and take a second to read it. Okay, so at first glance, it might look a little dense, but trust me, all the ingredients we've been talking about are in there. It does the summary part, but way more importantly, it answers that so what question with some serious style.
And here's how it all breaks down. Look at how the author connects the argument to its impact on society, using the phrase, truly reflects the multicultural society. Then you can see the hopes for the future right there with set to form a new direction that will hopefully, and there it is, that powerful sensorial language, after the tsunami, the fractured community. You can feel the tension in those words. This isn't just a summary, it's a statement with real weight.
So you see, by blending that quick summary with a very clear answer to, so what, this conclusion does exactly what it's supposed to. It leaves the reader with this profound feeling of why this research actually matters, not just for academics, but for the future of an entire nation's culture.
So the next time you get to the end of your own writing, don't just try to wrap things up. Think about that final impression. Remember to answer the so what question and leave your reader with something powerful to chew on. Your argument is built, the stage is all yours. What's your final word going to be?